Just gonna get set up here real quick, don't mind us. Music's gonna be a little loud here while I get set up. Player's thread here. Need to check myself, make sure I'm not. Need to check myself, make sure I'm not. All right. Go back through and make sure my audio tracks are correct and music should be low enough now, just barely hearable, hopefully. And yeah, we're just waiting for Kaz and Esper. So I guess before we begin, I'll let you guys look at the cockatrice screen here for a moment more while I go pull up the deck lists of our friends here. We can see exactly, because it is an open deck list tournament, what they are on. Give me a moment. Not close that tab. It's okay, we got a few minutes here, y'all, so we're just kind of chilling. Go over there. All right. Oh, nope, nope, nope. Well, a little too quick on the draw. Alright, hold on. There we go. Alright. We're in the game. While we're waiting for things to kick off here, we will go over the deck lists of our friends here. So we have TheCosmerian on Jarina Dauntless General, which is a black-white human soldier that ETBs and exiles target players' graveyard. This is a, as she has described it, anti-meta, anti-combo deck list positioned to take advantage of black-white humans, sort of a built-in aristocrats, death and taxes style game plan, as well as taking powerful cards like Ketramos, and like Sorin, and really turning those up to 11. It's packing a lot of board wipes, a pretty good amount of removal, and mostly its game plan is just to slow the opponent down, bog up the board with a whole bunch of bodies, and then win the game with humans that Jorina can make indestructible. Then we have Esper on a Mathis Fiendseeker, which is a Mardu vampire. It's a 3/3 with menace, which is important. This is just a pretty standard, I would say, Mardu gameplay list. Mardu experienced, where they have really solid creatures running both Titans, Nethergoyf, Barrowgoyf, Bombardiers, Johnny, and they're packing an absolute ton of removal. As you can clearly see, that is most of their deck. And of course, their card, Ripples of Unbest. And just aiming to really use those Titans and that removal and the card draw off of Mathis to draw the game out and then use the value accrued from the Titans to win from there. So that's both of what we have in this opening match here. As to predictions for outcomes, what I think is going to happen, I think it's going to be a very interesting match. This is a long game deck in terms of Mathis, and Jorina is kind of a little all over the place. Just by the nature of being humans, it can be a little bit more aggressive at times. However, it is capable of taking that game really long as well. So it's going to be a very interesting gameplay matchup here. I think the deck that ends up succeeding is going to be whoever ends up playing better around the Titans. I think the Titans are going to be the key cards in this matchup. For Esper, if they can take advantage of their Titans and use them effectively, then that'll be a great amount of value for them. And for Kaz, if she can shut off the Titans, ideally via Jorina, just at the right amount of times, then that'll be a key turning point for her to control the outcome of this match, I think. We should be getting here started really quick here, so let me get back to my other scene. Lovely. I can close these guys out real quick. Alright. We're just waiting for the players here. By the nature of streaming, we aren't going to be able to hear what they have to say very much, which is a little unfortunate. However, that's why I'm here. we're gonna commentate this a little bit. I'm definitely trying to improve my commentary from SCT. As you can probably tell, I'm talking a lot more. I'm trying to have much more to say, trying to be much more prepared. So please bear with me. This is definitely new to me, but I hope you enjoyed listening to the commentary here. I'm just kind of waiting. If anyone in chat has any predictions, any ideas as to what might happen here, obviously, the storyline here really is that these are two of the strongest players in the tournament. I mean, definitely, like, there are no slouches in this tournament. Everyone who is here deserves to be here on a very great level. But Esper has a Tiny Titans tournament championship already under their belt. The first time we did that. And then Kaz is a very notable brewer and has been in every single SCT we have ever hosted on the server. So it's not an accident that she's made it to a Tiny Titans tournament either. For me, I'm just excited to get to watch some tournament Magic being played. I really dig it a whole lot, and anytime we can have good games of Tiny Leaders, I'm happy Mecha. happy Mecha. All right. Should be starting here in about 2 minutes, hopefully. Kaz did say that Esper had something to do, so we're just gonna kind of chill for a bit here for a moment. Listen to some tunes. This is a just a royalty-free like dubstep playlist that I leave on in the background of streams, just so they can use all of this stuff for the TLR committee YouTube, which you should go subscribe to if you haven't already, and this will probably end up there. So, hi TLR committee YouTube, how y'all doing? Hope y'all enjoy. All right, we got Esper in the game. Let's go. The Phyrexian has arrived. Alright, looks like our players are ready to start. We got Jurina. And we'll get masses here in a moment, I presume. Yep, there they are. Alright. I do believe we have play draw seeding this tournament. I'm sure someone will correct me on that if I am incorrect. But I think it's play draw seeding. Which should mean, if it is, that Esper will be going first. We are discussing actively whether it is play draw or roll seeded. Hold on. Mike, our dear friend on the core committee who is running this tournament, is providing this in real time. Incredible. I know we play at a rules enforcement level that is casual. So sometimes we don't really always like play at the super high REL. We'll see if it's on the TLDR. Hold on. Player bios. We're gonna find out together. It's die roll. Okay. Oh, we're getting started here. I'm so sorry. Backstreet back. All right. Admittedly, I don't have very much to say about turn 1. Nothing interesting happened. Both players play the land and pest. Got 2 mana for something. Looks like using that silent clearing for a black or white mana. And it's going to be a Servanum Sunset Exemplar, or Sunstar Exemplar, excuse me. As a 2/2 human knight with vigilance and menace. Whenever another creature you control dies or is put into exile, put a +1/+1 counter on Servanum and you gain 1 life. And when Servanum dies or is put into exile while its power is 4 or greater, destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. So it is a growing threat that is also removal when it dies, which it will against Mathis. And it does draw the removal, and it does end up dead. And we got 3 mana for an Extraction Specialist, which is going to bring back that Servanum and give it can't attack or block as long as Extraction Specialist stays on the battlefield. Noted there by the jail. But looks like we're just going to remove that Servanum again. Mathis played and then put a counter for the bounty on the specialist on the end step. Could see a Jurina here. Start exiling that graveyard. And be protection against that Mathis removal. Of course, many options available as a humans player. Most of Kaz's hand is going to be available to her here at 2 mana apiece most of the time. Doesn't play very many 3-drops. We've got 2 for Jurina. Exile into the graveyard. And 1 for kill spell. On to Mathis. It's a fatal push off the revolt. And then going in for 3 life. Oh, so far, it's a pretty typical game plan for both players here. Looks like we might hold up here. Hold on. Players could be discussing something. I can't, unfortunately, hear them. Looks like we are all good now. There's, okay, there we go. I was like, just waiting for the life game to finish up here. Alright, so we have Rita able to protect that specialist. Looks like we're going to go for Skyclave on Jurina, which is probably just going to result in a sack anyway. As usually, it's more optimal to sack Jurina and, yep, let it be put into the graveyard. So that indicates to me that there might be like a Jilted Awake or some other form of reanimation coming. When she opts to put it in the graveyard rather than the command zone. Looks like we might see. Yep, just a little bit more optimal tapping in terms of mana. Ooh, a Ketramos. That's a scary threat. And yep, there's the Jolted Wake. Exile their own graveyard. Turn on the Ketramos. So now Ketramos is online. And how does Mathis deal with this Ketramos? Because most of their removal is destroy based. And this is an early Ketramos. This is going to be a very interesting pitch point for the rest of the game. Now, it's entirely possible that they just have the source of plowshares needed on Esper's side, but they don't play very many kill-based removal spells. Okay, so we're going to see a Kroxa. Discarding a land, taking 3. Must value the other card in their hand quite highly. Two. Cracking the Silent Glaring. Which makes sense. Doesn't really ever need more than 4 lands. Most of their stuff, again, is at 2. And there's Mom. Mom is also really good under Arena because the Arena protects so well. But Kaya's Guile is going to force a sack for a creature, and it might also be a game 4. Yeah, so it looks like it's a spirit and a sacker creature there. Which makes sense with the Ketramos being a real threat. Does net Esper their bounty. Even if Mathis is dead, the bounty does get to stick around. And there's Cecil. It's another good threat. And getting in with the Ketramos. Yeah, so far, I would say that Kaz is definitely in control of this game 1 right now. Especially Ketramos on the field. This is right where you want to be as the Arena player. See what Esper is going to do about it. Looks like maybe a action being considered heavily here. A little bit of time in the tank, not unusual. Definitely lots of points here for interaction and lots of things to think about if you're the rule player playing into a indestructible threat and a Arena which can sag itself to kind of invalidate some pieces of removal as well. Looks like we're going to get a Get Lost. We're going to see where Get Lost and also a Lightning Helix. So probably pointing both of those at the Mom. Going the Helix over the top of the Arena activation here. It is costly. 2 spells is a lot. Doesn't get to anything in return other than Mom dying. And we're going to recast the Arena, which makes a lot of sense. Get rid of that Kroxa, importantly. Titan down, I did say before the match. Titan is the most important way for this game to be controlled. Double block onto the Cecil. Trying to get rid of that. We'll see if Arena gets sacked or not. And it does not. I'm going to let the Cecil go to the graveyard there. A 5, presumably for Mathis. Put a counter on Arena, which makes sense. However, my not so bold prediction is that Ketramos beats are just gonna kind of be a game ruiner here for Mathis. as currently Esper, they've got 2 turns to figure something out before they are dead. Static Prison. Yep, okay, we have correctly game stated the Static Prison, drawing the card there. And we're going to unearth. I'm predicting probably the Extraction Specialist into the Mom. Yep, there we are. Mother in jail. Can't attack or block, but can still tap to activate that crucial ability. And gonna get in for that 6. Look at Orcish Bowmaster is gonna poke down that Mom and give Esper another turn versus the Ketramos. Still looking at 5 damage, however, so if Cause can produce another threat, it might just be GG's. We'll see. Connive with the Ketramos. One of the more interesting things that this deck can do with Spymaster's Vault. And does get pinged down, which is understandable. Discarding a Ranger Captain, but does turn that Ketramos into an even larger threat. Personally, I think I would have connived onto the Specialist, just to turn Specialist into another threat as well. But it just doesn't matter. 1 piece of removal and a Edict that I don't think is going to do much of anything. Edict does kill the... Yeah, but it just doesn't matter because you get to connive onto the Ketramos that's unblockable currently, and that'll be the game. Alright, so game 2 here. And it'll be Mathis on the start. Really like that Jarina turn on Ketramos line. That was awesome. So we'll see what happens here in game 2. Still pre-sideboard here. So no crucial, a lot of crucial interaction pieces for Mathis, for Ketramos being cut off. Because again, most of their exile-based removal is not available to them currently. Very classic turn 1 Ragavan. Turn 1 removal spell for turn 1 Ragavan? No. And we will see if they get punished, and she will, for failing the removal check. There we go. Turn 2 removal for turn 1 Ragavan. And Path of Ancestry on human. That treasure is a resource advantage and did clear a silent clear off the top. Does allow Mathis to bank an extra, essentially 1 extra removal spell at any point in the game. And we are going to see Mathis. Interesting to cast Mathis onto the empty board. However, as the Mathis player, you are more than happy to see Mathis get removed if Kaz does end up taking that option. Looks like it might just be Servando. Let's grab one here. And we might just see, Broadside Bombardiers. It's a very good card. Gonna get in for 5 unblockable. Instep, put a bounty counter on that Servano, and then immediately kill it with the treasure token to profit 2 life and a card. So there's that one extra counter, or one extra removal spell that I was talking about earlier, but they didn't even have to spend a spell, they got to spend a treasure instead, which is quite a resource advantage for Mathis here. And you can just see how those one little things kind of ripple out into the rest of the game and start to really snowball. That's the big problem for Jarina against Mathis, is if they do start to get snowball going, it is hard for Jarina to really stop that. A little bit of time in the tank here for Cosmerian. Looks like just kind of maybe mulling over some game actions here. 3 mana, 2 mana for Arena. Exile the graveyard. Nothing important from that graveyard, but it is good to have that exile. And a tap Goblet Shrine. A Surveil land here for Esper. Surveilling a DRC into the graveyard. Doesn't want it. Another Surveil land. Makes sense. Ahead on mana already. And can just get in for 5 again. It's a really fast block from Mathis here. Especially if they have more removal to back it up, they will be killing Kaz in 2 turns. Flinging Mathis for 5. It's a really aggressive play. If they have a lightning bolt, this game is just over. And they did spend a Helix already, so they could have, it could be lightning bolt itself. Could be banking on the access to broadside still being a thing. We can get Wrath's Skies. Interesting. Wrath X is 3. Which will wipe the board, but I don't think Esper's too sad about that. It's 1 card closer to exile a graveyard and make a spirit, maybe? Why did we... Okay, there we go. I think Kaz maybe just pressed the wrong button there. little misclick. It happens when playing digital Magic sometimes. Ash has things to say about this game, apparently. And just as game 1 was very quickly in Cosmerian's favor, it looks like game 2 here is going to be very quickly in Esper's favor, unless something drastically changes. It looks like it's going to be Mathis recasted here. And I mean 1/1 Spirit Friend putting in the work. 2 turns. It's 8 o'clock. Obviously, Mathis is much dangerous. Much more dangerous as a clock than the 1/1 Spirit. Jolted Awake. Cycled. A Bloodstained Mire that I don't think Cosmerian is going to be cracking. And looks like maybe, yeah, just the concession here. Yeah, that Snowball, definitely once it gets going, hard to stop, hard to stop. Oh, we are right here at 1 apiece. Very thrilling. This is a BO5 game, so we are getting at least 2 more games. Post sideboard here. As for sideboard predictions, I think that mostly Kaz is probably going to bring in some of her graveyard recursion, since Mathis actually is very light on graveyard hate, being a graveyard central deck itself. And also, I would not be surprised to see Shadow Spear out of the board. As for Esper, I think that I would be very shocked to not see Wargok Champion. And then you might also see Disruptor Flute for arena purposes. But we'll see if any of those cards actually end up seeing play, and if any of them actually end up getting casted at any point. Swamp pass from the arena here on the play. And it's Surveil Land, so, you know, slow going as usual. Bidding an Inquis. Interesting. Flashing out something? Playing Cling to Dust. There's some of that graveyard heat from Arena. And has a nice cantrip as well. Esper Sentinel turns their Esper's spells into pay 2 or let Cause draw. But looks like it's just going to be a Badlands and go here. Probably not willing to give that draw, or maybe just doesn't care all that much about Esper Sentinel right now. Cavern of Souls is an interesting one. Of course, on human. And looks like we're going to see Uranus put in here. Let's see if there's a room spell to back up on the Esperson, and there is. Jolted Awake the Esperson. Nice, profits and energy. Can be used later with that static prism we saw in game 2. Or in game 1, rather, excuse me. Seasoned Pyromancer. So Seasoned Pyromancer is going to allow Esper to discard 2 cards and then draw 2 cards, and if they put 2 non-land cards in the graveyard, they'll make 2 1 red elementals. And it looks like they will. So, board state indicate. Seeing the pending in Draventrium XFL. No white sources right now, so it makes sense to not want either of those white-based removal spells. Graveyard Trespasser, another one of those graveyard hate pieces that Arena mainboards. ETB probably going to poke away that Prismatic Ending. Yeah, there we go. No swing. Makes sense. She hasn't represented it. She doesn't represent it by the end of the turn. I will let her know that she needs to represent day-night. It is a thing that she now must track. Ah, there we go. Looks like Esper has handled it. Perks of having someone watching you play. Really considering this this card here. Very heavily considering what is on top of their library. And it does end up bending. The Voice of Victory is an interesting choice, to be sure. Could be an Arnos line. Would not be surprised to see. We got 2, 3, 4 Ranger Captain Vios, which will search for a creature with mana value 1 and put it into the TheCosmerian's hand. Probably just going to be a mom here, I would anticipate. As that's really what Arena is good at, is just being really fucking annoying. That is a compliment, by the way, Cosmerian, if you end up watching this. Yep, and it is going to be Mom, and there is going to be Mom cast. So, Mom, search for Mom, cast Mom. Turns out Mom is good. And yeah, this is really where Humans wants to be right now. Very glad to see being able to double spell. We are going to see a Ghostfire Slice. Probably ends up being an Arena sack. Yep. Trying to clear the way, perhaps, for another removal spell, followed up on their turn onto the Mom. Gonna start to swing. It's an interesting choice. See if they can start to mark some damage on some of the TheCosmerian's creatures. So we do have 2 damage marked on the Graveyard Trespasser and 1 marked on the Ranger Captain, and we're going to see a Meathook Massacre here for 4. Which will kill the Trespasser, but importantly will leave the Ranger Captain alive. Oh no, I'm sorry, I was mistaken, it was for X2. And some points of life definitely ended up being exchanged there as well. Now the board state's clear on both sides, but importantly, that's a lot of really good interaction pieces for Arena in the graveyard. So it's going to be quite sad to be missing those. And already spent the Jolted Wake. Sunstrike Legionnaire with X Sword. Another one of those cards that's particularly good at being really annoying. Probably just a Mathis into removal here. Instead, put a counter on the Sorin. And now Sunstrike is online, which means that Kaz can start to get damage pushed through via Sunstrike activations. I would be unsurprised to see either of these spells eat a removal spell. Looks like we're going to serve on them, activating the extort ability of Sorin. And we're going to see a removal spell for Sorin, unsurprisingly. Tap down the Mathis. I guess just because she can there. No reason not doing it. Getting that Sunstrike tap down. Does it essentially nullify the combat damage there? The stage of the game is really where Mathis starts to excel, though. And with threats like that, it's going to be a difficult ask for Irina. Of course, this is a inherently swingy game, and interesting seeing a removal spell pointed to their own cat to flip a Johnny. This is a dangerous position for Cosmerian. Very sad to see it. Yeah, Johnny wins games. That's what it does. So if there's not a removal for a Johnny, this might be game over. Guy's got flipped off the top. So another great removal spell there. And we'll see what Kaz does. That was quite a volley from Esper. Damn. 4 mana. Oh, making the 2 tokens off the Dalkovan encampment. So it does end up being able to clear the Ajani there. And it does become 9. Still not a great place to be in. Can nullify 3 damage, turn off the Sunstrike Legionnaire, but it probably just ends up getting removed. Placing another bounty on the Sunstrike, as is the right. And Kaz does have to double spell to turn it into day if he so desires. I always think that the condition for it being night is so much harder to achieve than the condition for it being day. Double spelling is a thing that happens regularly, not casting any spells hardly ever. Four for Arena. And this is a removal check here. Looks like it will not be any. And a Cecil. A guy's guile, huh? I'm gonna force a sacrifice and exile the graveyard as well. Okay. Always hard with modal spells to know what it is doing, besides the obvious one, that is. Could extract a confession. Just a creature sacrifice it. And then a removal following up with a removal, as Mathis tends to excel at. And we're going to tap down a Mathis on the way out, but it's not going to matter too much. Can recast Arena to exile that Flage on their turn, but then you're dealing with 6 damage a turn. Definitely threatening. And Esper over here just chilling at 33 life. They're playing EDH. Damn. Which, very interesting, will cost 2 life. Electing not to play Arena and exile the Flage. I wonder why Esper leaves the Mathis in the zone there and not puts it into the graveyard for Flage purposes. I mean, probably just because they know that the Arena can come down and exile it on Cause's next turn and can't activate it immediately. I answered my own question. Of course, it is cost nothing to put Mathis into the graveyard. And we will see Arena and we will exile Flage. So that is a Titan gone. Like a playing Fatal Push, and yep, there's game 3 done. So we are 2-1 Esper. So Cause back on the play here once more. And life on the line, Cosmerian. It's win or go home. So we'll see what she does. Win or go home. Either she wins and she takes it to game 5, or she's done. Turn 1 Esper. It's certainly a great way to start off. Badlands and a Ragavan. It was that Ragavan that did end up swinging that game too. We got 2 for something. Maybe a pause for consideration here. Wouldn't be surprised to see a sword. Yeah, not surprised to see a arena. Wouldn't have been surprised to see a voice of victory. Any of those options would have been great. Obviously, most of the deck available to her at 2 mana. Arena of Glory, Flame Slash, target the... doesn't really matter. And it follows up with another removal spell, but does allow Cause to draw a card. But it's okay because it allows Ragavan to get in. And around the skies is where white cleared. So double removal spell, giving the card draw, is not the end of the world. And we're going to just see a regular removal spell for the Ragavan. Arena of Glory is very important because it does allow Esper to hasten a Titan later on in the game. Let's see, Inquis here. Interesting hand. Wow. I was right. We could have seen that voice of victory as well. Star Commando. Brought in from the sideboard. I mean, there's a bunch of great choices here. I think I would personally end up probably taking the Flowering. Just annoying card. It's hard to remove any other way. Plenty of removal for creatures in Mathis. Ends up taking the Cathar Commando and casting Ripples of Undeath. Which makes sense. We'll see if Kaz goes and jumps on playing Dreen, and she won't. I think that very wise. Doesn't need to exile the graveyard just yet. Tangerine is always much more powerful when there are other humans to surround her, and does end up playing that Flowering out. Boost up that voice, get it out of bolt range. Interesting. We're going to get Ghost Fire Slice and Long Goodbye. Piston Beetle I think is less relevant. I think they will probably be spinning to pick up the Long Goodbye, and they do. So we got those and those gone. This is Kaz's hand right now. Nothing of note in Esper's graveyard just yet, but can stick Mathis here down just to start growing their threats. And if they have a 1 mana removal spell, it looks like it's just going to be a removal spell, probably for Voice Victory, yeah. Choosing to leave the Flowering behind. But Voice is a much more pressing threat, so definitely don't feel bad about that. I don't know why we tucked the Long Goodbye there. It's known information. Oh, I guess maybe why did you... Maybe Kaz asked them why they Sky played for the... Anyway. I would not be surprised to see Outline get played here. I would not be surprised to see Arena get played here. Obviously, single target removal. Make it 2/2. And then we're going to Jolt it away. Target what? Esper Sentinel? Yeah. Oh, target Cathar Commando. I forgot Cathar Commando was in there. But does clear the ripples. Importantly, Mathis does come down this turn and can use that Long Goodbye to clear the illusion if Esper so chooses. But it looks like we're going to see something get hasted out in the form of Mathis. And DRC as well. put a counter on the illusion. So Arena of Glory, being a excellent land, does not untap on Esper's next turn, but obviously for 6 damage, you're more than willing to make that trade. Still keep the Long Goodbye active in their hand. We do see Outline, which will generate a human this turn. And is also very large. Be a 5/5. Getting for 5 damage. So certainly is going to very quickly evolve into a damage race here. Of course, Adeline will be dying in very short order here on Esper's, probably on their end step. And interesting. I was about to say. Pay the ward cost of targeting Adeline with Mass's ability. Interesting to leave the Adeline alive, although I suppose there's no direct pressure to kill it right now. Thalia, Gardener's Raven, and now we probably see the Long Goodbye come down. Yep, onto the Adeline. Scry 1 off the GRC before we choose whether or not we get to draw that card, and it looks like excuse me. Also killing the token, so just a 2/2 now, and the 4/2 Thalia with First Strike. The Arena of Glory that untaps on their turn now. But a very profitable couple of removal spells, killing a excellent threat in the form of Adeline, and Thalia is interesting. It does cost basically +2 to kill it. We're gonna unearth Adeline. So willing to spin that interaction, which makes a lot of sense. Probably one of the best targets you could have imagined for Unearth in this particular scenario. Choosing not to generate a 2/2 makes sense. So I would say Kaz is in a very good position right now. But that could be very quickly flipped on its head if something like a Flage were to come down. However, that does not appear to be the case. Ooh, Beargoyf. One of the better cards available to both of these players. And we do see the Auroch Champion that I called earlier. See if it generates very much life, but it just being here makes me happy. And instead we'll put a bounty counter onto the human token. Interesting. You see the strength of the flowering of the white tree. That's why I would have taken it off the Inquisition. Arena is going to come down and exile the graveyard. I don't know. It's looking pretty interesting. We might be going to that crucial game 5. Importantly, not putting Adeline in any risk, or Thalia at any risk. And it might just be a take 7 here. And it is. Which importantly does shrink the Adeline. Give Kaz a moment to do that before I remind her. If she doesn't do it by her turn, I will sound off in the chat. Just so we are following the correct level of gameplay. Although it doesn't particularly matter. Because the likelihood of Adeline eating a group removal spell is extremely high. If Esper has one, that is probably what they will be using it on. That said, it would have to be a kill removal spell, and then there is Urine involved, and it would cost like 4, so, you know. Very, very interesting position, certainly, to be in, if you're Esper. Spending a little bit of time in the tank here. And ends up doing nothing. Doing nothing is always an option. Especially if you're playing control. Interesting to leave the Bloodstained Mire. I mean, doesn't need the extra mana I propose. I don't think Jorina plays Falls Mover, so can't just go willy-nilly here. That would be hilarious. And looks like it will just be the same thing, taking the 7. Choosing to block the Adeline with the Auroch Chain. Can't afford to take 7. Makes sense, not willing to go down to 2. We do see the Adeline shrink this time. Gonna be 3 for Unholy. Kill the Thalia off. But, of course, we're going to sack Urina. So that doesn't happen. Importantly, Delirium not online. Play that Baragorth with haste. Maybe not. Nope, it is. Baragorth with haste. And what a haste threat it is. 5-6. Big boy. Or girl. We don't know. He's a beefy lad. And just gonna swing that down. Removal spell. Spectacular Spider-Man. So that's going to be used as a protection piece and hexproof indestructible to probably end up blocking the Baragoi profitably. Yep, looks like we are just gonna see that Spider-Man get sacked here. Baragoi does die. And an Explorer on Demeth's here. Flips a Get Lost. Gonna see that stay on top of the library. All three of these games so far have been decided by the swinging nature of interactions of cards. These have been some really awesome games. Backstreet is back. Alright. I wonder if Esper's holding on to like a dam or something. Which would, of course, cost him 5 mana. What we got here? Graveyard Trespass. That's a great one. Gonna ETB eat that Baragoi. Doesn't really care as much about the Aura champion. Baragoi is a great target. Oh, no, choosing to not eat Baragoi. Choosing instead to eat Unholy. Interesting. I would have thought that Kaz goes directly for the life total pressure there. Especially since they haven't seen Esper be able to produce that 5 mana, which would be required for an overloaded dam. And choosing to double block Adeline, choosing 6 damage onto it. Does come at the cost of both of their creatures, but more than happy to see that Adeline die. Three mana for Extractor Confession. Force a double sack here. Gonna collect some evidence. It's only 5. Right? That's only 5. No, wait. I can do basic math. It's a 2 and a 3 and a 1. Yeah, I have the stupid. Please forgive me. Alright, so we're gonna sacrifice a Graveyard Trespasser. Which did have the greatest power. I forgot it was greatest power and not a double sack. It's still you're looking at 8 damage right now. And if we do see a land that can be a arena recast. Just keep doing what this deck is good at doing, which is being annoying. Looks like maybe a little bit of time in the tank here, considering their options. We've seen Unearth. We've seen Jolted Awake. Likelihood of this being reanimate is not high. Really spending some time in the tank here. Maybe the players have a issue that they are attempting to resolve. Always hard to know. Nope, looks like we're gonna move right along here. Ranger Captain. Tutor for Mom, as usual. Oh, tutor for Guide of Souls. Interesting. Cuz may know something that I don't. I mean, that is just also a lot of power. Leading Thalia back. Interesting choice. She certainly is an excellent blocker. But the opportunity to push through 8 damage there is also nothing to sneeze at. Seen about half of Esper's removal spells. And what appears to be the majority of his creatures, although we are missing a couple. Namely the Titans. And another wife as well. We got 3, 4, Get Lost. Get Lost onto the Ranger Captain. Probably just see the Ranger Captain get losted, yeah. No sacrifice, no surprise. And a Spyro to draw 2 and make 0/1/1s. 3-mana draw 2 and make a 2/2 is a pretty good rate. Can double explore the Thalia to get it outside of bolt range, if she so chooses. It looks like Copper Coat Vanguard. That's really going to up the ante here for damage wise. And we are going to see one Explorer. Looks like maybe onto, I mean, I assume it's going to be onto Dahlia, but it's actually onto Guide of Souls, which is quite surprising to me. And we do see a concession, so we end up at 2-2, which means it is a game 5, win or go home for both of these players. Game 5, everything on the line. Crucial stakes. One of these players is going to win and go into the next round. One of these players is done. Their tournament's over. Looks like no changes to the sideboard for Esper. And looks like maybe no changes as well for Cosmerian. Not surprising, both these players pretty locked in to what they want to do. Esper on the play. Last time they were on the play, they did end up winning the round. It's been a win-lose for both of these players. Esper going to 6. And also Cosmerian going to 5 presently. Surveil the way down. Two for Yanni. Best threat in the game. Certainly. This early on. Sorry, y'all. Gotta give me something to drink. So we marched the token. Bladed Geisels. Then there was a math split. Now we're back to Gauss. Predicting probably just a double creature here. Maybe a triple creature. She has 3 1-drops. Urena and a mom would be a very good combination right now. Step counter on the Urena. And then immediately murder it. Murder! Murder. Not fetching. Why not fetching? Interesting. I actually can't think of a reason why Kaz didn't just fetch. Vanguard. It's a great option. Looks like we're going to see an unholy heat onto the guy results. Another successful removal spell played. And a Flowering of the White Tree, which was crucial last game. Fetching for the Sovell land there on Esper's end. I'm very glad that the series has gone all the way to 5, by the way. Past Ancestry. Lots of lands. Recasting Arena. See if there's a removal spell to follow up here. And there is. And I think that if you're, cause you're in a very precarious position now, where this Mathis deck, it is doing, huh? There we go. It's like, cut down. That's not right. It can't cut down right now. Yeah, cut down Arena. This Mathis deck is doing exactly what it wants to do. So certainly very precarious. But you've been here before. Seasoned Pyromancer. Interesting choice. Great guard. Discarding a Flage. Makes sense. And the cut down. Just padding out those threats. Promising the end of the game if that Flage gets to get recurred. Graveyard Trespasser, which will get rid of Flage. No sense in predicting anything else. Gain Drain, there we go. And the Trespasser becomes a 4/4, which is quite nice. Still a lot of damage to be looking at. Looking at 8 damage a turn presently. Inquis for the last card. And it's a removal spell. Probably pointed at the Mathis here. I would be unsurprised. Five damage. Mathis with haste. Yep. And get back through. Just the Mathis. Discarding an Auriok champion to successfully target the Graveyard Trespasser. Could have done some very interesting things with the Ward discard a card and Flage, and I imagine that he probably will not. They probably will not. Please excuse me. Will not give up another card to the Trespasser. Easily, at least. Servandum, with Flowering, does come down and is a destruction spell. So a great threat to be annoying. Map token flips over Servandum. So Thalia Bend and Servanum Groves. Looks like maybe some time in the tank here, deciding whether swinging with the Graveyard Trespasser is a worthwhile endeavor or not. Perhaps considering cracking that second map token. Lots of decision points certainly here for both players. Oh, Esper. Esper has DC. Oh no. Oh no. one of our players has disconnected from the game. Looks like they didn't just come back, so maybe just a little bit of a brief internet issue. Can't tell what we're doing right now. I think the players may be having somewhat of a discussion. There we go. Just like, cause you have no cards in hand. We're gonna crack a map onto Esper. Esper is gonna crack a map onto Mathis, rather, I should say. I associate the Mathis deck with Esper so closely. It's like, oh, this is their deck. This is what they play. And discarding the Ragavan does move polluted Delta into their hand. So looks like 2 lands and something else that we don't know about. Arena of Glory does untap on their next turn, or discard a card for the Graveyard Trespasser. Turn the team sideways. Block the Spyro. Looking at lethal damage presently, and yep, that'll do it. GG's all. Esper will be moving on to round 2, and Cosmerian, you had a valiant effort. You played some great games, but unfortunately, one player has to win, one player has to lose in a single elim. So I will imagine that the players will be having quite a chat here for a few minutes. They're some close friends, but I'm gonna end things off. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. These are some of our best players, and they played some great games. And thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Stay tiny.